Was geht ab, liebe Leute, ZZfighter hier zurück für euch mit einem neuen Video und heute mit einem neuen Format auf diesem Kanal. Ich weiß noch nicht genau, wie ich das Ganze nennen werde, aber es geht in diesem Format einfach darum, dass ich Leute aus unserer globalen Dragon Ball Community auf diesen Kanal bringe und halt mit denen ein bisschen spreche, Interviews mache. Wer sind die überhaupt, was machen die überhaupt, was tragen die zu unserer Dragon Ball Community bei? Und mein erster Gast heute ist Ken Xyro, den werdet ihr im Interview kennenlernen und das Ganze ist natürlich auf Englisch, also er spricht kein Deutsch. Und falls ihr das Ganze dann halt nicht versteht, habe ich euch immer daneben so kleine Übersetzungen dargelassen, damit ihr auch versteht, was da wirklich gerade gesagt wird. Also meine Fragen habe ich euch übersetzt, seine Antworten habe ich halt kurz übersetzt und das Ganze sollte so funktionieren, egal ob ihr Englisch fließend sprecht oder nicht, es sollte verständlich sein. Falls euch sowas gefällt, lasst es bitte mit einem Like da und schreibt in die Kommentare, was man daran verbessern kann und ob euch sowas gefällt, weil es ist was Neues. Ich möchte wirklich versuchen, die Dragon Ball Community zusammenzubringen und euch auch ein bisschen zu zeigen, was alles so in unserer globalen Dragon Ball Community so abgeht, welche Leute sich da befinden und so weiter und so fort. Deswegen, ich habe mir echt Mühe dafür gegeben und ich hoffe, ihr werdet das auch wertschätzen, solche Interviews, und ich würde sagen, genug von meiner Seite aus, viel Spaß mit dem Interview. Alright, for those of you who don't know him, he is the legend himself, Ken Xyro, and he basically translates Dragon Ball stuff on Twitter, such as spoilers or interviews for us Dragon Ball fans. Do you just want to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, I am Ken Xyro. Apparently, it used to be Ken Xyro, but now it is Ken Xyro.
Oh yeah, man, it's just, I don't know.
Pronunciations. It's okay. It's not a bad thing. I like Ken Xyro.
So, what origin are you from, and what languages do you speak? I mean, you do speak a lot of languages, right?
Yes, that is a very long answer. That is gonna be a long answer. So
go ahead.
Should I go with the long one?
Do it as short as possible.
Okay. Origin. I'm half Chinese, half Indian. I was born in Nepal and I grew up mostly in India. And in languages I speak, okay, let's see. English, Hindi, Urdu, Sanskrit, little bit Korean, Chinese, and yeah, I guess that's about it.
How did you decide that you want to translate Dragon Ball stuff?
Oh, it was, I don't think it was actually like a decision I made. It was just that Dragon Ball Super started and I watched the first episode, second episode, and it was like something was missing there. I was like, what is that? And I noticed on social media website people were just angry. I'm like, why are they angry? And it was because they don't understand what's happening, because there were no translations for anything out there. So I was like, oh, okay, all right. I understand a bit of their anger now. So that's basically when I decided, like, okay, let me do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, and before legendary episode 5, that's when the anger really exploded. But
yes, that was the biggest anger, because I know what you mean. I know.
Yeah, in the German community as well, Dragon Ball Super has gotten a lot of hate, basically, because episode 5. Many people didn't watch Dragon Ball Super, they just saw the shots of episode 5, which of course everybody just stopped the frames, and then it looked really, really bad. I mean, let's admit it. And that's when everybody said Dragon Ball Super is bad. But right now, we see it, it's really hype.
Yes, I'm really glad that many people didn't just give up on Dragon Ball Super after that episode and stick to it, because now is when the real stuff is happening.
That's right. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. Let's talk about your experiences with Dragon Ball. Like, I have seen your anime list, your top 10 anime list, and Dragon Ball was on the 9th place.
I do rank it in my top 10 list. It's at 9th. That's only because the anime that are above it are just, I can't rank them any lower because they are just perfect in any way. I love Dragon Ball, there's no doubt about it, but when it comes to deciding between two anime and comparing Dragon Ball with some other anime which I like, it's just that I see the negatives of Dragon Ball and I just can't ignore them. I still love Dragon Ball, but it's just that when it comes to comparing Dragon Ball with, let's say, Death Note, it's just that Death Note is more of my type of anime because I like psychological and brainy stuff, all that. So it's more of my type of anime. So that's why I rank Death Note above Dragon Ball, even though I love both of them.
Yeah, I mean, I really love Dragon Ball too, and I see all of its flaws, but because of the nostalgia, it's like, it's gonna be always my favorite anime, even though I see that Death Note has more quality, better writing and stuff like that, so, yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah, but Hajime no Ippo, did I pronounce it right?
Yes, Hajime no Ippo.
Yeah, that's your favorite anime. I mean, you inspired me. I saw your list, your top 10 list, and you inspired me to watch No Game No Life because I think you like gambling animes as well. And why do you love Hajime no Ippo that much? Why is it your #1 anime?
Well, Hajime no Ippo might be a bit personal thing because when I was really young, like really young, 6 or 7 years old, I used to love boxing since then, and obviously I couldn't box at that time. I used to love wearing those boxing gloves. My hands were so small they wouldn't fit even in the smallest gloves, but I used to just love them, wearing them, and I used to just love boxing. But obviously my family wouldn't just tell a 7-year-old to go and do boxing. So what I used to do was, instead of all that, secretly, without telling my family, I would fill a sack, a sack with sand, and use that as a boxing mat instead of a boxing mat because my family wouldn't let me use a boxing mat. So I would secretly use that. So boxing is sort of, everybody loves football and all that, but for me it is boxing that I love.
Yeah.
So it is half that reason is that, but other half is that Hajime no Ippo is just a great anime. It is full of comedy, it is action, it is one of the most underrated anime because people just ignore this anime because it is a sports anime. But trust me, once you start watching it, it just doesn't stop giving you enough.
Yeah, I mean, I will watch it definitely because with sports anime, it's like that. I mean, I watch Area no Kishi and it's actually my Twitter profile picture right now. I love the anime, but nobody really knows it. It's just underrated because nobody has seen it, and soccer is like really underrated in the US. So I will definitely give Hajime no Ippo a try. It's gonna be the next anime I watch, and I hope all of you will watch it too. Let's watch it together as a community and make our legend Ken Xyro proud. Before we talk about Dragon Ball Super, let's talk about the Japanese real quick, and in comparison to the rest of the world. I mean, how do the Japanese people perceive anime, and how big is it really in Japan?
This I get asked that quite a lot, and really, quite simply, it is not that different because people think that the Japanese fans are really different from the Western fans, when in reality, it is actually, they're not really different. They are exactly the same as us. So just like we have our Dragon Ball community and there are communities for every anime, Japanese fans also have all those communities, and they discuss, make theories. In fact, for Dragon Ball, I'm not active with other communities, but with Japanese Dragon Ball community, I'm quite active, and the theories they make and the theories we make, they are pretty much exactly the same, almost all of the time. Yes, 90% of the times, all the theories, even the bad ones, like there was some stupid theory about Hit's eyes being a different color, so him being a ghost or something.
Yeah.
But all that stupid theories exist in both the fandoms, even in the West and even in the Japan.
That's funny. I mean, all the theories we have. So are there actually like Dragon Ball YouTubers for the Japanese community, or are they like talking on forums or stuff?
On the forums and on blogs, they are really into blogging, and mostly on Twitter. They discuss a lot on Twitter, but mostly it's just blogs and websites.
Oh, nice, nice. So, what do you think makes a great anime for Japanese people in comparison to the Western world, for example?
It's quite hard to answer, but I think when it comes to Japan, what they usually like is it depends. It depends on the day. It depends on the audience. Because see, there is a show. I wouldn't say show. It's just an animated show that airs in the morning on Sunday, and rated like 13 point something. Like
Oh, yeah, Is it Torae or Sazai-san?
Sazai-san, it
Yeah.
gets rated so high, and that means that high rating means that loads of Japanese people tune into their TV to watch that show. When compared to Dragon Ball gets around 5%. So basically Sazai-san gets twice the amount of Dragon Ball. So it really, but that doesn't mean that they don't like Dragon Ball. It just means that when it's a Sunday morning and you just wanna relax and watch something funny, people just turn the TV to Sazai-san instead of Dragon Ball. So it's sort of like that. It's not that they're just gonna be like, okay, it's Dragon Ball, so we're gonna watch Dragon Ball. But however, one thing that I think attracts many Japanese fans towards some anime is either the quality of the anime itself, the animation, or the quality of its original manga. Because if a manga is popular in Japan, its anime also is quite popular, because it's sort of a thing like they compare the manga to the anime. And I haven't seen Western fans do that as much. Like, we do it as well, but we don't do it as sincerely and as regularly as the Japanese fans do.
Yeah, I mean, we are like leaning more towards the animes because, I don't know, Western people are not as passionate as Japanese people in reading mangas rather than watching animes.
Yes, that's true. And part of that reason is that in Japan, you can just simply buy Shonen Jump from any grocery store or any store, you know? So it's just easy access. You get easy access to all that stuff.
So it's basically a big part of the culture as well, right?
Basically, you can buy the Shonen Jump magazine. It's not like a collection thing. It's more like a use and throw thing. So you can go to the store, you can buy a snacks for yourselves after school, and you can buy a Jump, and you can just read it. And usually what people do is they just read it on their way to school or after school. They're going somewhere, and when they're done reading it, they just throw it in the trash can.
Really?
It's sort of like a use and throw thing, simply of closer to like newspaper or some magazines. But when there are fans of a particular anime, like they're fans of Dragon Ball or some particular anime, those people actually collect the volumes instead of the Jump magazine.
Yeah, I mean, that makes basically sense because, I mean, I would much rather keep the volume instead of so many Jump issues, and then there's so many mangas in there. So yeah, it does make sense.
Exactly. And yeah, even the Japanese, like the Shonen Jump magazine also has so many advertisements and all that. People want to avoid that. And the quality of the paper is also not too good on the Jump magazine.
Yeah, we see that when the scans come release, and we see it on Twitter always. Yonko Productions and stuff like that post it. So
Yonko actually gets cleans the scan a bit up, so it looks cleaner. If you actually get a Jump and you take a photograph of it, Yonko uses a printer scanner, like a high quality one.
Yes.
But if you take a picture from your cell phone, you'll see that the quality of Jump paper is basically like a really cheap newspaper.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that, man. It's nice hearing about all of that. Are you ready for some Dragon Ball Super talk?
Right, let's begin.
So let's just start off with the last episode. What did you think about the latest episode of Dragon Ball Super?
That was so amazing. Like, I'm so finally glad that actually when this tournament was all about teamwork, and I'm finally glad that this episode they are finally working towards it. I was thinking that since the beginning, oh, okay, we have 10 members team and we're gonna see some teamwork. But all this time, Goku was away fighting on his own, Vegeta was fighting on his own. This is for the first time we see the entire team, like the remaining 5 members, work together towards one enemy. And that just gets me, you know, excited.
Of course. I mean, first there was the formation with Gohan, Piccolo, I don't know, Roshi and Tien and Krillin, basically. Those were like trying to fight together, but it didn't work out because just everybody ran out. Frieza ran out, Vegeta, Goku. But now, just as you mentioned, the teamwork aspect was really good. And let's be honest, our boy Android 17, I mean, let's talk about him. What do you think about his development? He was really great in this episode.
Start of this arc, I actually wasn't expecting that the androids would get so much screen time. I'm glad they're getting it because 17 is really an amazing character. Just look at him in the latest episode. He's so cool. He's so cool. Really? And yeah, his development from being a guy who wanted to kill Goku to the point where he's protecting the universe, that's really nice actually. I love it. And 17, not just 17, even for 18 actually, it is really nice thing. I'm so glad that they are giving so much time to these two characters in this arc.
Yeah, you really see how much they missed each other. I mean, I feel it basically. They don't tell us that straight up in the show, but I feel it like they really missed each other. And then Krillin saying brother to Android 17, there was like, it really moved me. It really moved me.
Yes, yes.
So who's your favorite character right now in Dragon Ball Super or in the Tournament of Power arc?
This is gonna surprise some people. Should I tell them?
Do it.
My favorite character in Dragon Ball right now is Monaka.
Yes, yes. I swear to God, that's my boy Monaka. Ask my community, I really love him. I'm always complaining, why is there no Dokkan battle card of Monaka? I mean, give him an LR or something. I mean, he is so awesome. But yeah, why do you like him so much?
Just relate to Monaka. He's just a chill guy who is just doesn't belong there, and he's there, but he's making it through. There's just something about him that I just like it.
Yes, I thought he's gonna take up the role of Hercule, or we call him Mr. Satan. Like
maybe in the future we will see a threat that is gonna endanger the entire universe, and the one to save him is gonna be Monaka, not Mr. Satan.
That would be awesome, man. So you enjoyed the Tournament of Power arc, right?
A lot, really. The thing with this arc is that what I like about this arc is that it's not so simple. Like usually Dragon Ball Z has always been straightforward. There's a good guy, Goku and his friends, there's bad guys, whether it's Frieza, Cell, Majin Buu, and they just have to beat them up. But with the Tournament of Power, there are no good guys or bad guys. There's just everyone's good, and Jiren is a super good person, we know from the manga. Yes, everyone is just fighting for their survival, so I really like that what do you call it, that portion of this.
Yes.
It gets us thinking, you know, it gets us thinking like who should actually win. No one is really evil, so who's gonna win? That's what we all know. Universe 7 is gonna win, but it just gets us thinking that really do they deserve to win? Because Jiren is a good guy, everyone's a good guy, so why should you know, all the universe need to disappear just for our hero's survival?
That's right. I mean, Goku was basically the bad guy for all the other universes, and that was like a role change this time around in Dragon Ball Super. And also with the enemies you just mentioned, I mean, before it was the same formula: bad guy, Goku beats him; bad guy, Gohan beats him, for example. But now with also the introduction of Goku Black and Zamasu, I mean, they were villains, but they had true reasons to behave like that, you know. He had a reason to kill all those Ningans, like we call them. and that was something, the direction Dragon Ball Super took, basically from the Goku Black arc, it really surprised me, and it really made me glad that they took this direction, because right now Dragon Ball Super is basically really, really hype. It's so much better than the first episodes, the first arcs. And I have a question for you. So what do you think will happen after the Tournament of Power? Which direction is Dragon Ball Super gonna go after that? Because that's a really tough one. Yeah.
Personally, I think that they are definitely gonna visit one of the other universes. I can't guess whether it's going to be one of the erased run. Maybe they wish back the erased run, so maybe they can visit Universe 6. A good story arc, maybe even if it is a filler, can be that Vegeta wins Tournament of Power, and he wishes back Universe 6. So when he wishes that back, the king of planet Sadal, the Saiyan planet in Universe 6, he is happy because Vegeta from Universe 6 restored their universe. So he basically invites the Universe 7 Saiyans over to his planet. So this way we can get a Sadal visit, which the anime has been teasing for a while, that Vegeta and Goku are gonna visit planet Sadal. So we're gonna get that as well. At the same time, we're also gonna get a a mini arc, you can say.
Yeah, well, do you think the Sadal stuff could be related to Yamoshi and maybe the movie, which will release at the end of next year?
I actually never thought about it, that maybe Yamoshi and all that may be connected to Universe 6 and somehow. I never really thought about it, but yeah, it is possible. But actually, if you read that portion about the movie, it says that the movie is about the origin of the Saiyans and their powers. So we don't really have 100% confirmation yet that it's about Yamoshi. It can be, but we just can't say that for sure yet.
That's right. That's right. Do you think the Dragon Ball Super, do you think it will surpass Dragon Ball Z? Do you think it will go after the end of Z? And what do you think will happen with Up then? Will they rewrite the episode, or will they do something completely new? What do you think about that?
This thing so much lately, because with the manga the latest chapter, it already showed Up in his village. So I definitely think that we are gonna get the ending of Z, and we're gonna surpass it, because Up is being teased more than he needs to be teased. If Up was just this final character that Goku meets at the tournament 2 years later, they don't need to tease him like this. So I think the reason Up is getting teased in the anime and manga as well is because he has some bigger role in the future of the story. So I think that story is gonna go past Z, and whatever happens after that is definitely gonna involve Up in some way.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see about that. I really thank you for being here, for taking part in this interview. But before we close off, I want to ask you this final question. Do you think Vegeta will get the Ultra Instinct against Jiren?
I do think he's gonna get Ultra Instinct against Jiren. It has been teased for so long. Vegeta, there have been so many hints that they've been hinting us from so long that yes, Vegeta is gonna get Ultra Instinct, and I think this is the time. And the biggest reason for that is because the writer for Dragon Ball Super teased us that he wrote a very cool Vegeta episode, and that was in September, which means
you mean Toshio, right?
Toshio. He wrote, if he wrote a cool Vegeta episode in September, it means that that cool Vegeta episode is gonna air sometime around February or March. So Vegeta is gonna survive this Jiren battle, and I think this cool Vegeta is gonna be him achieving Ultra Instinct in February or March.
Yeah, I mean, it's not long. Next week there's no episode, and then there's only like 4 episodes until we are in February. So I mean, it could really happen. It could really happen, and I hope it happens. But yeah, thank you very much, Ken Xyro, for being here. Guys, he is our translator for Dragon Ball Super, for Boruto as well, for those of you who watch Boruto. So leave a comment here thanking Ken Xyro. Go on his Twitter page, follow him if you want to have those translations. Of course, if you don't want to be spoiled, then maybe you shouldn't do that. But yeah, thank you very much. Do you have some final words for the German community, maybe?
Just that. Eat well, sleep well, play well, always.
That's right.
Follow the Kami style. Follow the Kami style.
That's right. That's right. So thank you very much, Ken Xyro, and we are out of here.